Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome to PIVC 2020. We are live here from London in the UK. It's just gone 10:30 in the morning. Our very first session will be starting very, very soon. Hi, everybody. Oh, I can see lovely comments coming up again. Use the comments section wherever this is streaming here on Facebook and on YouTube as well, on the Access Paranormal channel too. Oh, awesome. Hey, Kerry, good to see you, lovely people. Oh, hey, Alison. Oh my gosh, we have such a jam-packed day ahead for you. I know you're going to absolutely love it. I'm so excited about this and absolutely blown away by the support, like to the point where I'm almost fighting back tears as I say that. It's been incredible, and this has been a dream of mine to be able to put something like this together and using the situation as the best as we can. The first thing I want to do is actually say a big heartfelt thank you to all the speakers that have accepted the invitation to speak today, to share their knowledge. Often you would actually have to pay to see these guys share this type of information. They're giving it away for free, and they're giving up their time today all around the world, all different parts of the world, including Australia, which we're going to cover very soon. And I just want to say a big heartfelt thank you to every one of them for doing this. This means a lot, and it means a lot to the people in the paranormal community as well. So that's the first thing. Also, I want to dedicate this entire day to those that have passed from COVID-19. We do talk about the possibility of an afterlife. It doesn't mean any disrespect at all to anyone who has passed, and also to those who are left grieving as well. This day is also dedicated to you in honour of you, wherever you are in the world, and I hope it does get easier for you. Also, this day is dedicated to those who are on the front line as well. Every day, it's our hospital workers, it's the delivery guy, it's everybody that is actually out there every day, an essential worker risking their lives to keep what small part of this world is still going. So this is also dedicated to you. Oh, goosebumps and tears. So this is going to be a fantastic day, as we all know. Now, a couple of things for this during this wonderful conference. The internet, I am at the mercy of the internet gods, and so are also the speakers as well. So there may be glitches, there may be dropouts, there may be fuzziness, and there may also be delays as well. So audible delays between speakers and myself. Please be patient. That's the one thing I can't control at the moment. So that may actually happen. In the absolute worst case, where if something happens and a session is cut off or internet drops out completely for one of us, we will try very hard to get that person up and running. If they're not, or they can't for any reason, there will be another attempt either later today or at another day or another time where we'll actually rerun the session. So you will not miss out on any speakers or any sessions or information at all. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Also, I live in a very busy street in London. Although we are in lockdown, the world has still turned slightly here, and so there may be scooters going past. You may hear a plane go over, buses, trains, you name it. It's I want to live in a busy part of the world, and now I'm paying for it. So by all means, be patient. There may be some outside noise occasionally. I also do live with other people, and they may occasionally be walking past. And I do live in a beautiful old Victorian building with the walls are bloody thin. So another thing also to keep in mind with this session and all these sessions today is that if you have a question for the speakers, because each session has Q&A. So if you have a question for a speaker, type Q in the comments section and the question. Or if you have a comment for one of the speakers, type in C and then the comment. And that way I'm able to check and track who is saying what, because I know we sometimes use chat for chatting amongst ourselves, which is completely fine and completely encouraged as well. So if you do have a question, it's a Q and then write the question. If you have a comment, it's a C and the actual comment that you want that speaker to know as well. And also the last thing before we get our very, very first special guest on, there is also the Paranormal Day Quarantine-a-con, which is happening tomorrow. It's been run by Haunt Jaunts and supported by Paranormal Magazine. It's a great day. I'm going to be attending, that's for sure. So again, this could be a fantastic paranormal weekend of so many events. I mean, they've got a great line of speakers and they've got different shows and interviews and all sorts. So again, go and check them out at the end of obviously today, and all that's going to be happening tomorrow on Sunday. So without further ado, I shall bring our very first guest on. So a little bit about this wonderful individual. Rob Wolfman Wilson is a managing director of Wilson Black Entertainment and founder and lead investigator of PACT, Paranormal and Cryptid Task Force. He began his paranormal investigative journey over 5 years ago, starting with a year and a half of a government-sanctioned exploration of the incredible and extremely haunted Cockatoo Island. This would lay the foundations to a whirlwind of paranormal experiences at some of the Earth's most haunted locations. Rob chooses to focus on connection and experience rather than the science behind how it all works. He utilizes his unique and positive energy and lives by the simple mantra of AIR, A-I-R, which stands for attitude, intent, and respect, which he applies to his investigating and also in life in general. Under the banner of Wilson Black Entertainment, Rob creates video content that can be found on YouTube, Facebook, and for Pact and Wolfman's World, which is more paranormal and pop culture. And he also will soon launch Paranormal Experience Australia, which is a fresh and exciting breed of public paranormal events. But in today's session, Rob explores the experiences he's had while traveling through the USA and how that's changed his perception about the paranormal. So Rob, take us through what happened in the USA and how that actually changed your perception. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you.
Hey, excellent. So, mate, what actually changed? Take us through? So, how did you get to the USA and take us through the whole journey? Like, what happened?
I guess I got to tell you about my humble beginnings first. I guess you already said it. Mid 2014, I joined a team. Spent a year and a half doing stuff on Cockatoo Island for the government. And from that, a film was made about it, Our Experiences, by Chad Kalick, Sir No Face, who decided to do a tour, 2016, and a bunch of us, Deb and Beth from PACT, friends Kat and Dan McMath, decided to join the tour and do some other stuff while we're in America as well. So, yeah, that's how it all came about.
Oh, wow. So this particular experience, okay, so think about it. What did you think of the paranormal before you went to the US and that changed your perception? What did you think it was originally?
Well, I still sort of green, wasn't I? I mean, I was like a year and a half, 2 years in. So, you still don't know what you're doing. You're trying to find your feet and stuff like that. But, I was just going through the motions, trying to learn as much as I can. You still do, you know what I mean? Even far into it, you're still trying to learn and evolve.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just say it took a quick right turn after this trip. Some stuff happened and it changed things for me. It changed me as an investigator and as a person. Pretty full on stuff.
Yeah. So your thoughts of the afterlife, when you were pretty green about it, was it more just like, people either pass on and it's the paranormal? What was the paranormal to you back then, sort of thing? Was it, or you, like you said, were you just more kind of just still learning? And
well, for me, it's always been the thrill of it. You know what I mean? The thrill of the hunt. It still is, sort of. In the way. So yeah, like everybody else, all the normies watch all the TV shows and that, love all the gadgets, even the K2s. The basic stuff. I did some other stuff as well as Cockatoo Island, of course, during that year and a half, 2 years, but still green, still learning.
Yeah, cool. So where was this location that changed your perception? Where was it in the US? Or do you want to reveal that at all?
Oh yeah, so I'll reveal the schedule. It was pretty quick, it was pretty hectic. This was like 2 weeks, bam, 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 bam. So we started off in Vegas, did a road trip to Tombstone, Arizona. Then we flew to Nashville, where we met up with the tour. While in Nashville, we did a road trip to Waverly Hills Sanitarium. Then we took a plane to San Antonio to join the tour again. And we did an investigation at the Yorktown Hospital. And then we flew to New Orleans to end it all out. But I just want to focus on the Vegas to Tombstone road trip. That's when all the action started.
Wow. So some fantastic locations. I mean, In 2 weeks, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I mean, America's not a small place. It's not like you just drive for an hour and you're there.
Yeah, a lot of flying domestics.
Yeah.
Lot of scary planes. A lot of scary Delta planes. Everything's moving. Like,
Come on, mate. We deal with life after death, mate. Nothing should scare you.
I don't know. Rattling plane panels. That can do it for you.
Oh, the really small ones, yeah. The ones that are only like 3-seater or something. Yeah,
Yeah, no good.
I've been on one of those going from Georgia to from Georgia, Atlanta to Lexington, Kentucky. That was it. Yeah. I feel your pain. So
I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, it was things were rattling and shaking that shouldn't have been rattling and shaking. Everybody's just looking at each other.
Yes,
yeah, good, awesome. All right.
So what happened, mate? So what
you know what though? I'll start off in Vegas, right? Something weird happened our first morning. I don't think I've told you this one. So I think we got there in the afternoon. Half the mob just went to sleep. No, I just kept going, man. I was buzzing, you know. Got myself a Bud Light. That was gross. Just drank that and just watching people in Vegas. So anyway, the next morning, Dan McMath knocks on the door, walks in, and he says to me, "Rob, you know something weird? I was in my bathroom, and as clear as I can hear you talk. You're yelling at me while I was in the shower."
What?
And I'm like, okay, that's a bit strange. So that's not where it stops. So I meet up with Beth the same morning, a couple of hours later, and she goes, "Rob, I was in the bathroom and I could hear your voice. You're yelling at me while I'm in the bathroom."
And you don't sleepwalk at all. Like you actually still awake at this point.
But here's the thing though. Dan and Beth were the only ones in separate hotels. Dan was a block and a half down the street. We're at Fremont Street. We're in Fremont, like in the middle of everything. And he was 2 blocks down, and Beth was staying in the New Strip.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
So that was real creepy.
That's a decent distance. It's not like, yeah, wow, okay.
So that was.
So they've heard your voice, and they're staying in a completely different building, which is probably like a K away, and maybe a mile and a half, sort of roughly, for other people.
Yeah. That was
2 different people have heard your voice,
and they never talked to each other. They didn't talk to each other before they see me. So that was that was kind of strange.
Wow.
I've never dealt with I guess a doppelganger type situation before. I don't know. I didn't know what to think about it. You know, my voice is getting used. It was a bit strange.
Yeah, it's funny because Alison has said that a comment for hers. It's like, oh, this has happened to us too, not Beth, but people talking that aren't there. So this is something that happened to someone else in a possible paranormal phenomenon. That's really interesting because we often think of the afterlife as that someone's passed over in order for you to have that experience. But if it's alive, then what's actually happening? You know, is it a time slip? Is it because voices are the thing that we hear the most? Are we kind of just? Is it a type of really strange audible pareidolia? That's incredible. That's really interesting. And 2 people reporting that as well. That's, again, something that's to make note of.
Yeah, I don't know about my doppelganger being a bit of a pervert, knocking on bathroom doors, but anyway. I've never done that in real life.
Hello. I'm from Australia.
This is just Coke, by the way.
Of course it is. Of course it's Saturday night in Australia.
That's some good Coke.
It's brilliant.
It's a quiet Coke between friends.
Of course, clearly.
Okay, so yeah, I think we stayed in Vegas for a couple of days, and then we started our road trip. Hit like the Grand Canyon. You been to Grand Canyon, Beth?
I did the helicopter ride into it and had lunch, and then.
Oh, really? Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. Have you been there? I've been there. I flew there, mate.
But we went to Hoover Dam first, whatever. That's not, I didn't rate that much, you know, whatever, it's a dam. And then we like drove to like Grand Canyon. I'm thinking it's pretty much the Hoover Dam without the concrete and the water, you know. But I'm thinking, how good can it be? It's amazing, isn't it? What an amazing place.
It is. Yes, it's a beautiful, beautiful location.
You can't describe it unless you go. You have to go, and it's very. For me, it was almost a spiritual type of a situation for me. It was just wow, you know, words, no words.
Yeah. Have you been to Death Valley at all?
No. Did you fly in the helicopter there too, or what?
No, we drove through on a tour at the time.
Okay.
And that's the same thing. There's something about the land around Vegas that is very spiritual. There's something very special about that particular area. Definitely, for sure.
For sure. Okay, and then we get to our hey.
Oh, so there's a wonderful comment here by somebody who said, phantoms of the living have always been more common than apparitions of the dead. The book by the name is a classic, and the bathroom's voices story is very interesting. Yeah, exactly. There is, I remember Phantom Voices. I mean, I've heard that book before. It's very famous. But yeah, so it is a thing with people that have heard voices. So yes, continue on, Rob. So what else is
there? Yeah, okay. So we finally get to this place called Jerome, Arizona. Oh wow, what a place! It's just one of those places we all stepped out of the car and just went, well, you know, it's just, you know, sort of like Grand Canyon type thing. It's just the energy just hits you. I think mostly because it's very self-aware. So Jerome, Arizona is an old mining town. Oh, yeah. And it's very self-aware. It's made peace with the whole ghost thing. Like there's a haunted burger place and all sorts of things. It's pretty cool. But such a nice place. I recommend it if you're in Arizona. Very nice. So yeah, we had some drinks at the haunted burger too, but we didn't have too much because we had too much at Vegas. So we're all feeling a bit sick. I think they had like 2-for-1 margaritas or something. We only had one because we were over it.
Oh my gosh. It's Vegas, though, mate. We had a margarita jug, and I brought home. Of course, it's a skull shaped. Clearly, I just put one whole bottle of wine in it, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's how much we've had. You know, like everything's it's crazy.
Yeah, they have a different RSA over there. or lack thereof. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, so we headed to our accommodation for the night, the Jerome Grand Hotel. So that's used to be the town's hospital. I think was it called the United Verdi Hospital? It was called. 9,000 deaths reported, probably more. Who knows? You know, they're the only reported ones.
Yeah, that's it.
Very cool place. We just checked out. We stayed in a suite that was the operating theatre, formerly. Big suite, lots of rooms. You know, blah blah blah, lots of room. We checked out our rooms and decided to do some investigating. We did some EVP sessions and set up some static cameras in our room and stuff like that. Nothing really happened. It was a bit underwhelming, as it normally is.
Isn't it interesting to think that you're staying in a place like that? That's what the purpose of the building was before, and yet for that one night nothing happened. But yet sometimes it can be other locations you go to, you think, nothing's going to happen, and things happen.
Oh well, it did happen eventually.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting to that. So we met some bloke when we got there, some other guy in reception. There's only like one person there, at reception. And by the time we did all our investigating, it was late. It was about 12 or something. And there was a lady on reception now. Her name's Sarah. I think she's still there. Hi, Sarah, if you're watching. Nice lady. But she's we just asked her questions, how you do. Can't help ourselves. And she goes, I can take you around later if you want, in a couple of hours, if you like. But she was all nonchalant about it. You know what I mean? We don't do this much, blah, 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 but this is this, but we'll do. I'll walk you around later. It's all right, mate. So we met her at 2:30 in the morning. So we're all a bit, all a bit dusty by then. I mean, that's fresh off Vegas too. So we're all a bit, wide-eyed. But so we met her in the foyer, and before she's like, oh no, we don't do this much, but boom, she was right into tour guide mode. I tell you what, it's just like boom, 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 all these facts, all these things, boom, 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 boom. Got out of K2s, got out this, got out that. I'm thinking, oh, you've done this before.
I love it. That's great.
So she started off at the foyer, which was the emergency room, I think, and then we scooted off to the basement of the boiler room. So this is 5 levels. This place.
Oh wow!
Big building. We started off in the boiler room, and one of the most famous deaths happened in the boiler room. I think I can't remember when it was, but a maintenance guy named Claude accidentally died with his head getting crushed in the elevator shaft. You can see that they put an outline where his body was. Jesus.
And they still have that
yeah. Wow. And she's like talking, oh, this is where they found him, blah blah blah. But it's some bloke. Apparently, some bloke killed him though, named John or something. But while we were down there, I heard a voice. I heard a guy, like it was a whole sentence, but it was like a kind of muffled. It sounded like it was through a radio. That was interesting, and we all felt this subtle static wave, like move around. We all like stuck our hand through it. It was bizarre. None of us have ever felt that before. Never have since. And it lasted for about 10-15 minutes. These static waves. Didn't go past the shoulder, but very interesting.
Yeah.
So that was a couple of experiences just to start off. Then from there we moved up to level 5. So we went from ground level right up and made our way down. Well, we didn't get it all the way down. I'll tell you why later. So we're on level 5 and nothing much going on there. You know what I mean? But Dan started to look a bit weird. Started to look a bit off.
More than usual.
Yeah, more than usual. Yes, more than usual. Yeah. Hi, Dan, if you're watching.
Hi, Dan.
So he's looking a bit weird, and he's sitting down on a bench, and he's just looking a bit strange. I said, whatever. It's early, like it's really early in the morning. We head down to level 4. We're checking out some room. I can't remember where it was at the end of the hall. And I felt something else that was strange, and Deb told me she did later on too. I felt the floor kind of move, like the floorboards kind of lifted up, and I kind of like tipped backwards. It was very bizarre. I realised it was every time that Dan took some steps towards me. It might be a prelude to something to come now. so very. I haven't felt that ever again either. It's just weird. The floorboards just moved, and I kind of like tipped backwards a little bit a couple of times.
So was it when he took a step towards you, and it was a delayed reaction, or was it like?
No, as he was walking towards me, I was like, hey, what's going on? But I didn't really. I
love delays. Was it just you that felt that, or was it others?
Oh, Deb.
Oh, Deb. Okay, so it was Deb as well. Okay.
Yeah, Deb felt it as well. But anyway, so we moved down to level 3. We go into this room. It could have been level 4. It was a long time ago. So we go into this room, and where was this other famous suicide? A patient. She jumped out of a window and splat. Apparently. Word on the street is she was pushed as well by the same guy that killed Claude, this John character. So Sarah's telling this story, and she's blah blah blah, and I'm kind of in the doorway. I got somebody sitting on a stool next to me. Sarah's pretty much right in front of me, and Dan's to my right against the wall, and I'm looking at him, and he's starting to sway a little bit. And he starts to glass over. Right? And then he starts like looking at Sarah in a way that Dan wouldn't. It just felt like this. It wasn't Dan. It was pretty scary. And then he started to look at all the girls. Didn't look at me. Didn't reference me whatsoever. Didn't look at me at all. Didn't look at me at all. He just went from girl to girl with this evil look on his face, evil look in his eye. And Sarah picked up. Sarah picked up on that, and she started to get a bit funny. So I thought I'm gonna get him out of this room, and I just picked a time and I dragged him out of the room, and straight away he got on his hands and knees and started just going trying to purge whatever's attached himself to him. Goes like, oh my god, this is like a movie. So so I'm maybe 5 foot away. And the girls are way down the hall. So this is the middle of the hall. And the best way I can describe it was almost like Jekyll and Hyde. Like, it was Dan, he'd look at me, and it was this thing, whatever it was. And there was a distinct, they were totally different. Dan said he was in full control, but, I don't think, sometimes he wasn't. This thing had a good hold of him, whatever this was. So he kept looking at the women, and then he'd look at me, and this thing would look at me. And honestly, I've never, ever been that scared in my life. I was rattled. This thing just looked right through me, and I was rather intimidated. Because I'm thinking, look, it's just me and this thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's actually a question here from Marisa. Did you ask who it was?
Oh, no, I didn't want to know who it was at that stage. I was trying to process it. I've never seen this kind of thing before. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was very shocked. I was intimidated. And I was kind of scared, to be honest with you. The girls didn't want anything to do with it. They were way back. So it was just me and Dan and whatever this thing was. And then at one stage, Dan's looked up and he's like, to make it worse, don't come near me, bro. He goes, don't come near me, mate. Just don't come near me. And he was petrified. And then this thing come back and he's staring at me. And I'm like, fuck, what's going to happen? What can I do, But then something happened that other stuff's happened during this trip, and we'll get to it. But this is was the turning point for me, I think. That's changed me quite a bit. This thing wasn't Dan at this stage. This thing's looked at me dead in the eye, and I'm damn near pissing myself at this stage. It looked over my left-hand shoulder. Its head went straight down, quick, and my fear just turned to just determination. I'm going to get him out of this. I wasn't scared anymore. I just knew I needed to get him out of this bloody building. So it was level 4 or something. So or level 3. I had to drag him down like 3 or 4 flights of stairs down the fire exit. He fought me for the first couple of flights. This thing wanted to get back in there and do whatever to the ladies. So I forced him down these stairs, and it got easier and easier and easier. And once I got him out these doors, boom, it lifted. Whatever this had a hold of him, was affecting him, just went. And sorry, Dan, he's, he just started to bawl his eyes out, shaking, saying, I'm sorry. And he told me eventually when he collected himself that he just had these horrible images of causing the ladies harm. Nothing sexual, just like violent stuff. Really violent images was going through his head.
Also, it was so intense, us girls weren't interested in finding out who it was. There you go.
Hey, could have been this John character that, that's rumored to kill all these people. Who knows? Could have been anything, Could have been anything, just walked into that place. But then I'm there like consoling him and that, and he's shaking still. It took him a while to collect himself. And I'm thinking, fuck, we're going to have to go back and sleep in this place.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, I think by then it was like 3 o'clock or something, way past 3 o'clock. So the tour ended. That was it. The tour ended quite quickly.
Yes.
And we got back to our room, and something told me just to watch Dan. I watched him all night, pretty much. I think I got maybe an hour of sleep, but I watched him, and this is quite funny. Like, I was watching him on the couch, and about half an hour after he fell asleep, he started to twitch like this. He's doing this on the couch. I'm thinking, oh fuck, here we go again. And he's twitching. I think it was Kat that went up to him, and he actually had a bug in his ear. But you know, at least there was a bit of humor up. Yeah, so yeah, that was. I actually experienced that a couple of times, like, you know, with different people after that, and handled it better. But that first time was pretty full on, and I just wondered, you know, what was there with me that night helped me out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You know, I'm Catholic. You know, I know there's a some kind of, just made me think that there's. I don't think this thing was human. To make this negative entity just bow its head that quickly. I don't know. I don't think my grandmother would have had that effect. You know what I mean? I don't know. What was there with me that night? What helped us? You know what I mean? Like, what gave me the strength to just collect myself and drag his ass out of the building? You know what I mean? I don't know.
I can't imagine what that would have felt like. I know I've seen somebody change, and but they changed, and I know what you mean. It's we both know Dan, and you've known of him for a while then as well, and we know their personalities and who they are. Changes so dramatically in like a place like that, and is very much not themselves, and going in and out. It's intense. It's funny enough, interesting enough with Dan. The first time, I think it was the first or second time I met him, was at a paranormal convention. See, I love networking, in Australia, and at a location called Maitland Jail, and he glazed over then. But it was nothing like what you experienced. He just kind of glazed over, and we were doing this in front of his face, and he wasn't actually responding or blinking. So that was the first time I've seen him be affected in some way. Again, got him to move away from where he was standing, sat him down, and he was fine. But that is intense. And it's the fear, isn't it? Like it's somebody that you know and care and want to look out for, behaving in a way that's unpredictable, and we have no idea what's really happening. You know, you can't just say, okay, now whatever it is happening, if it is a spirit, get out. You know, this is
Can you go? Can you leave, please?
I'll buy you a beer.
Come on. But yeah, so that's that was good. That was a different experience. I wasn't prepared for that one. I experienced a lot in Cockatoo Island, but that was caught me off guard. That one.
And I guess it's the potential intensity that an energy can have over a person. You know, just to change a person's behaviour, like and the thoughts, especially your violent thoughts, that would have been intense.
Well, no, Dan, he's a gentle bloke. You know what I mean? Like this thing wasn't. So you know. Is there any other experiences you had when you were in the States that you found quite interesting? Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, on that too, I found out later on, maybe you told me, I think, that my that your protectors sit on your left hand side. That's what I got told. So
yeah, I've been told that.
To think of. So, well, something was protecting all of us that night, luckily.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it by myself.
Yeah.
All right, so
just a second.
Oh, okay.
Has anything ever happened to you personally? So have you yourself ever kind of been taken over by a possible entity?
Oh, no. I tend to deflect anything bad. And poor Dan seems to be around when it happens. Poor Dan cops it. I'll tell you.
So you're shielding.
I remember the Police and Justice Museum in the Rocks. we're doing, I think it was a chat event, and I was calling out this female negative entity in the one of the courtrooms, and I'm doing a bit of I'm just having a go a little bit, you know what I mean? Provocation. I don't do it much, but she was a nasty character, so I thought, fuck it, I'll give it to her. And I'm standing in the middle, and he's sitting behind me in the judges section, right? I'm probably sitting where the lawyers would stand and plead the cases or whatever. And I'm calling this bitch out, blah 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 blah. And he hit the floor. Boom! Something dragged him by the watch to the floor, and his watch snapped. And yeah, so sorry, Dan.
Jeez. So his watch, was it like, did he say it got pulled, or did it just fall off, or how did?
I'm not sure. He might have to answer that, but it certainly got ripped off. Like he went down quick.
Jeez. Poor
something yanked him right to the floor. Yeah.
Funny?
So
people just seem to be a sponge for this kind of stuff, and it's I'd love for that to happen. But
you know what though, when Dan and I get together, stuff happens. So I think it's the combined energy. I don't know.
Yeah, that could possibly be it. It could actually be a combined energy type thing. I know when, and you've done it too in the past, when you've run events with groups of people, some people in a group will go into a room and certain things will happen, and it can actually probably be the people in that group, because then another group will go in afterwards and nothing happens. So it can sometimes literally be about the people, more so about the people.
Oh yeah, it's totally about the people's energies. Yeah, totally. It only takes one person in a group to be grumpy or like a closed-minded skeptic, and that's it.
Yeah,
fucks it for everybody.
Shuts it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from Jerome.
yes.
But visit. It's a great place. I can't wait to go back. Actually, it's a great town, great place. So from there, we drove to Tombstone, Arizona. Wow. Oh, we went to Sedona.
Oh, I'd love to go.
Before that, some desert place, and it's got a vortex or a portal or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, nothing much happening there. I was a bit bored. I'm very transparent when I'm bored. So,
I never get that vibe from you at all.
It was just red sand, you know what I mean? No vortex. We did not find a vortex. I think we had to walk 2 Ks into the sand, into a mountain or something. I don't know. It was whatever. Okay, so Tombstone, Arizona. What a place. Oh, I loved it. So cool. Wild West town, of course. Made famous by White Earp and the OK Corral shootout, of course, the Tombstone movie. That was funny. Dan tells the story well. We got told on the way, don't mention the movie. They hate it. Don't mention the movie. Right? And we get there. There's fucking posters everywhere about the movie. They do a reenactment of it. Like they walk down and reenact the movie, and whatever.
No.
So you can mention the movie. We stayed at a place.
Oh, we've got a question here. Someone here has mentioned. Oh, here we go. Is there sorry, my friend. There's a question here. Is there a place that you would really like to investigate one day? So we'll park that one for now. We'll get through Tombstone.
So we stayed. We got there late afternoon, so we didn't get to check out much. We spent the next day doing stuff. But our culmination for that night. So this is the night after our events at Jerome. So we get there. It's almost dark. I think it was dark when we got there. I think it was 8 or 9 o'clock. I think. We met this guy. I think he was the owner's son. Here's something that we were impressed with, right? So in America, they just throw you the keys. We're like, what the fuck is going on? They just open things up and go, here you go for it, do what you want.
Oh, that's a dream.
Everybody in Sydney, it's not like that. It's almost, you know, of course, it's like a taboo still in Sydney, Australia. It's a taboo. It's just, most people aren't into it. Most places aren't into it. And if they are, they charge you, what, $500 to $2,000 a night or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Get your act together, Sydney.
Yeah.
So So yeah, we're talking to this bloke. He goes, "Oh yeah, open everything up for you." I'm like, "Wow, this is unreal." So so by the time we're settled in, so did I say it was a Tombstone Bordello B&B? Did I say that?
No. Oh wow.
Yeah. So it was yeah. How did I miss that one out? So that's so yeah. It was the one of the two bordellos in Tombstone. The other one was, of course, the Birdcage Theatre, of course, the famous Birdcage Theatre. We checked out. We didn't get to investigate that, unfortunately, but maybe next time. Yeah. So by the time we got settled in, it would have been almost midnight. So all the girls were staying in the Madame's quarters, which was outside the building. You had to access it from outside. It's pretty much where we parked the car. So Dan and I were in a room, and in the main section, I think there was maybe, don't quote me on it, there might have been maybe 8 rooms, maybe 2 downstairs, and maybe, I don't know, 4 upstairs, maybe, I'm not sure. But anyway, so me and Dan were the only ones in this section. I don't know where the owner's son went. He went. So we're here we're there by ourselves. The girls have retired for the night, and I said, yeah, I'm doing it too, because of course I watched Dan all night the previous night and got like an hour's sleep. So I just turned in. I went to sleep, and we're in a suite called the Diamond Annie Suite. It's the only room named after one of the Prozzies, I think. She was supposed to be the primo Prozzie in Tombstone at the time. Jump back and forward from the birdcage. I think she died when she was 32. They had a rough life, those Prozzies in Tombstone. They'd have to like shank people in the necks and everything. Like pretty full on girls, you know what I mean? Girl power, eh? Pretty good. Anyway, yeah. So Diamond Annie Suite, and the girls were staying outside in the Madame's quarters. So this room was upstairs with a bunch of other rooms, but Dan decided to stay up. He was downstairs sitting in the old parlor. He decided to, say hello and have a chat and maybe do an EVP session, blah, blah, blah. He told me after that he tried to, this is relevant because it's kind of like a series of events. He's downstairs, and every time he went to get up, he'd hear a big knock and he'd sit back down and he'd start talking again. And he'd get up, big knock, and he'd sit back down. After about 3 times, he said, look, it's late. I need to go to bed. We'll talk again tomorrow. You know what I mean? So he's gone upstairs. I sort of heard him come in, blah, blah, blah. He shut the door. I've drawn a diagram of what the room was.
Oh wow! Oh, I love your artist. Oh wow! Oh yes.
So it's very. So yeah. So Dan's bed was right against the doorway.
Yep.
And my bed was opposite the ensuite door. So it was pretty simple. Nothing to it. Not a big place.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So bear in mind too, this is like summer in Arizona. That's another thing too I wasn't prepared for. Like the Vegas heat and Arizona heat. Like, yeah, being Aussie, you're like, we get hot days, but it's different. It's a different heat, isn't it? It's got this bite to it. I wasn't prepared for it. We were. So yeah, it was like 35 degrees. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit, but about 35, 36 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, 35 degrees or whatever. Arizona night. We're there and we're laying down. I'm asleep, and all of a sudden I hear Rob, and I'm thinking, fuck. So I kind of like open my. I'm a side sleeper, so I turn towards Dan, and all I see is him sit up. He sat up in bed, saying nothing else. He's just staring at. And then I looked at the door, and it's wide open. And he's like, "Hello." I'm like, oh. And I'm still trying to get my bearings. I've just woken up, and there's a door flung open. I'm like, Dan, did you lock that door? He said, yes. He said, I locked the door. And it was one of those old doors. Oh, they're all, you have to jam them shut. you know, they're all the same. These 1800s doors, you know, they've been moved, and you know the weather's moved them so many times that you just have to jam everything shut. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we spent like 10, 15 minutes trying to debunk things, and you know, trying to see if something would have moved it. And look, it was jammed shut, and something's opened this door. So Dan shut the door, and we tried to go back to sleep. Now, a useless fact about me: if my sleep is broken, I'm a light sleeper after that. That's it. Extremely light sleeper. Everything wakes me up. I'm just and just the thought after what happened in Jerome, just the thought that something's in our room now with us made me a bit uneasy, right? So I'm tossing and turning. It would have been maybe 2 o'clock by now. And I was woken up by the sensation of a forearm sliding between my legs. Again, I'm a side sleeper, so, and it was a weird angle. It was almost like it was hooked from under the bed. So I'll never forget that sensation of this forearm going between my legs, right? And I didn't feel a hand. It was more like a mitt, like it was something, just a force on my boy bits. And by then, like, while it's on its way up, like it was so quick, but it felt like slow motion at the same time. So it made its way up, grabbed my bits, and I was wide awake, and I was looking at Dan as this was happening now. You know, just in case you wanted to try something, you got a bit frisky. It wasn't him. So, but I'm looking at him, and whatever this was dragged me, like kind of shifted me down the bed a little bit.
What?
Not just slightly, just a bit. You know, so I was a bit sideways instead of straight.
Yeah.
I've never been touched before. That's not my thing. So I'm trying to. Yeah, when stuff happens, even stuff, even for us that have experienced a lot of things, you try and rationalize it. You know what I mean? In your head, and I'm laying there for ages, just trying to rationalize what just happened. I knew what happened. I'm trying to rationalize. I just got a freebie. You know what I mean? I'm trying to rationalize it. I eventually try to go to sleep again. I closed my eyes for a little bit, and it's clear. I had earplugs in because Dan snores. So do I, but you know. But he's snoring away, and I got earplugs in. It's almost as soon as I closed my eyes, as clear as day, I heard a lady, maybe in her 30s, say "Robert" in my ear. So I'm like, yeah, that's it. Fuck that. I'm up. I'm getting up.
And that is interesting because you sleep with earplugs, like. To have heard that. Wow. Yeah.
It wasn't a clear Robert. It was like Robert. She didn't pronounce the B properly, which is interesting. I don't know why. But I was up, and I was. Bear in mind, it was summer, Arizona, 36 degrees at night. I was freezing cold. I was jittering. My teeth were jittering, and I'm staggering over to Dan. I had to wake him up, and he's seen how rattled I was. And how much I was shaking. I said, Dan, something just touched me, blah, blah, blah. You know, my turn to wake him up. So, yeah. So, but we tried to communicate. Nothing said hello to us. But, yeah, that's two pretty full-on nights in a row. I just, yeah. Completely different. Completely different, but yeah, equally as intense. Yeah, for different reasons. So I don't know
if. Did you go to sleep? I wouldn't even be able to sleep after that.
No. Like I said, I was. It's just those, just a series of events. Dan, made contact with something maybe downstairs, and something probably followed him up, opened the door, and I got, well, I didn't get it, but it's a bit, yeah. And Dan's like, oh, why didn't I get anything,
But, wow. Oh, wow. That's just, intense, very, very intense. It's very interesting. It's like we had
Yeah, good on you. Is that Deb or Beth?
Oh yeah, I know, mate. One of your wonderful team members as well. Yeah, it's that's an
they were oblivious to it. They were oblivious to it. We told them more the morning after.
wow.
But thanks, Diamond Annie. I didn't know whether I was like say thank you, or you know, I feel violated by it. I don't know. It was a bit weird.
Yeah, it's like thanks for making me feel uncomfortable. Oh my god, why do you?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, as Maurice also said, very full-on experience. Thanks for sharing. Would have been.
Yeah, no worries.
It's all the most rules, you know, like oh yeah.
I've told a few times, yeah, but no, you know, not recently. So I'm a bit hazy on certain things, but yeah, just yes, wow. So yeah, from that, you know, we didn't have much more experience. Like we went to Metals Plantation. That was what a beautiful place that is. But other than that, yeah, that was it. That first few days, just incredible. And people that are close to me will say that I come back different.
Oh really?
And I did.
Yeah. And that's one thing I've found probably the hardest to explain to somebody who may not have been. I mean, they're intense experiences that you've been through. We're lucky enough to get that in a lifetime, let alone in a few days. But it does change you. These experiences, when you have something like that happen, does change you. And I've said that in many interviews in the past. But you can't explain exactly how it's changed. It just is different. You look at life differently. Do you find that that's the case with you?
Oh yeah, I feel like I said, I feel personally as a man, I just feel differently. I guess it did, especially after the Jerome thing. It became a bit more spiritual for me. I guess. Like I say, I'm Catholic, but I don't really practice. I'm not a practicing Catholic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what was with us that night, but thank you, whatever it is, whatever you are. Thank you very much.
Somebody has mentioned.
Yeah.
Did you leave a tip?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I've had better.
Well, thankfully, you didn't say that to it. It may have been a guy. You never know. It could have been a male spirit. You know.
Yeah, you never know, do you? Yeah. You know, Wild West boys. I don't think they were that. You know, they might have been that way. Who knows? But it would have been a messy affair. I tell you what. You know what I mean? Like back in those days, like guys would come into the broth, and they hadn't showered in like 2 months. Can you imagine the smell? Jeez.
Oh,
no good.
No wonder you were first cab off the rank for the night.
Yeah, this guy smells alright. He's had a shower recently. That's probably why Dan didn't get touched.
Yeah. Mel's jumped in. There are certainly experiences that you'll never forget. Yes, exactly.
Oh, definitely.
It's it stays with you.
I was very lucky. I don't know if I do you call yourself lucky? I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're pretty full on, and they chased me for the better, I believe. But I don't know. Yeah, lucky. I'm not sure. But it's prepared me for anything, really. I guess what I mean. It's prepared me for anything.
True. It's true. It's a lot of people, like we mentioned with Dan, sort of being overcome by whatever it was that seemed to have changed him. It's like when that happens, and you don't know how to help the person or get them out of that situation, and like you obviously did the right thing, is getting them outside of the location somehow seems to kind of break whatever it is happening. I'm not sure if it's change of environment or, because if you think the spirits are everywhere, then it will just follow outside. But for some reason, the times when I've been around and someone has done that, taking them outside the location just changes. It changes the person. It gets them out of whatever it is that they're in. So.
Yeah, see, I didn't. Like I said, this is the first time I was green. This is the first time I've ever had this experience. I had to deal with it. So, but that adds to it. Like as soon as it peered up my shoulder and ducked its head, I knew what to do. I just knew what to do, and I didn't give a shit. I charged at it, grabbed him, and chucked him down the stairs. You know what I mean? But yeah, very, very cool experiences.
And Alison from Adelaide, you'll always be You'll always be welcome in Adelaide, Rob.
Oh, thanks. I've got to go and hang out, do some ghost hunting.
Oh, you'll have to, mate.
I've heard good things. Heard good things about Adelaide.
Yeah, no, we've got to go hang out with Alice Allison's runs tours. Obviously, not quite at the moment, but we'll be hopefully soon. You guys are getting some of your lockdown restrictions. I'm very jealous. But yeah, go and check out Adelaide's Haunted Horizons.
We've hung out once at one of the Paracons. We're on the same table with Brian. What's his name? Brian Cano. Brian Cano. What's his name?
Yeah. Brian Cano.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, he's all right. So Cag, yeah, Allison, and I can't remember who else was on the table, but yeah, it was a good night. Yeah, who else we met while we're in America? He took us to San Antonio Airport. One of my fellow presenters, Brad Kling. How's it going, mate?
Of course, yes.
We had our very nice bloke, big. Jeez, built like a barrel. But we had our very first breakfast taco.
Oh, how good are breakfast tacos? Oh, they're just the best invention. That's about their title of their new podcast. You know,
that brings me. Those boys have a weird fascination with tacos.
Oh, mate! But once you have Texan tacos, holy moly, you cannot.
Well, you know yourself, like we don't really have good places to get tacos, really, in Sydney.
No, not like it is in Texas, man. I can totally understand the fascination.
And they're not served by real Mexicans either. They're like Indian blokes or something, you know. You're like, oh, you know.
We're around the world, mate. We're all multicultural.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There's a comment here from Lily. She says, strange, isn't it, that we go out to experience something out. When we finally do, you never know what you're going to get. Yeah, exactly. It's the unpredictability. It's like, I want to experience something. And it's like, there you go, Rob. You got grabbed in your ghoulies. Now you've experienced.
Yeah. That just goes to show it can happen anytime, anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just have to be open to it. That's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. Do you believe in spiritual protection at all?
Sorry, you cut out a little bit.
Do you believe in spiritual protection at all?
You know what? This is what I do. I call upon I call upon an army almost. Friends and family that have passed. And whoever wants to tag along. Even spirits that I've dealt with before in the past that I've made some kind of connection with. That's all I really do. What's interesting though? I shared this with Dan on his birthday actually. I used to wear like rosary beads and a medal that was blessed by a priest and Benedict medal.
Yes.
And I haven't worn them for a while. Nothing much has happened. But as soon as I put them back on, stuff happens more often. That's kind of interesting.
That is interesting. The fact that it stirs up possible activity as opposed to deterring it.
Yeah, I don't think it's more me. It's more them. You know what I mean? Like maybe they've got something. They don't like it or they like it or you know what I mean? Who knows?
You never know, and that would definitely be something. I wonder if there are other things that people have worn that would actually stir up. Something. I mean, obviously, walking around like a trigger object almost, wearing it.
But this is interesting though. We're in Vegas. We're in the car. Hi to Dee and Tim, Horton Explorers, and the people there. Real nice people. And the Purdy's. So we're in the car with the haunted Explorers blokes. And Dan was actually bragging a little bit about how he doesn't use protection, and he wants experiences. The next day, the drone thing happened.
Oh wow!
So perhaps he jinxed himself.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Oh. And I'm someone who doesn't do anything spiritually protective myself, but then again, I've not had that experience particularly. That's intense. Wow. So yeah, and like you said, it's changed you. It's changed your perception on it, and that's incredible. It's an incredible experience.
Yeah, I'm not really. I've never really been in it for scientific purposes. Like my bio says, I'm not into it for the scientific side of it. I don't, you know, well, for three main reasons, right? A, I don't have the time for for data logging and all that shit. You know what I mean? B, I'm not that smart. You know what I mean? If a damn right genius like Nikola Tesla can't work it out, I'm not going to. In high school, right? There was three levels of maths, right? There was like there was advanced, intermediate, and maths in general, right? Maths in practice, they called it, for borderline retarded people. I was in that maths. So I'm not going to work it out. I'm going to not pretend to be a scientist, right? I'm not going to pretend to be a scientist. And C, I don't think we're meant to work it out. I really don't. Like the experiences I've had, it just led to we're not going to find out or work it out until we're dead ourselves. So why bother? That's my journey. You know, am I pissing people off? Oh, look, this. But yeah, that's. And I focus on connection and experience, and that trip was a big reason why. I go to a haunted location. I do my research beforehand. That's very important. The location, the past residents, the history. That's what I focus on: connecting with you, connecting with others, living, dead. It's all about connection. Everything's relative. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, mate, we're going to have to wrap it up now. We've hit the hour already. It's flown. It's flown. A big thank you, Rob, for joining us here at PIVC 2020. It's been an absolute ball. I love it, and it makes me miss Australia so much more, chatting to you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for popping my conference talk cherry.
Yay, excellent. Oh,
you were nice and gentle.
Next time, I'm going to be worse.
It'll be harder on you.
Thank you so much, Rob. It's been very insightful, really great, intense experiences, and I really appreciate you sharing them with us today. It
was a pleasure.
PACT, Paranormal and Cryptid Task Force. The link obviously has been showing down at the bottom there. Go and check out their Facebook group. They're also on social media and YouTube as well. So go and check out the links on their pages as well. So thank you so much, Rob, and everybody. The next session will be coming up soon.
Thank you. Bye.